All right, let's give this a go. This took too long to set up, but we're going to try it anyway. We're going to try to beat the sun going down up here. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk to you all about the why you should or should not buy a beachfront condo. I'm going to focus on the why you should not first of all, and then why you should after the should nots. This is just my opinion, and it has a lot to do with where I lived, in proximity to the condo itself, and yeah, so we'll just go from there. So, real quick, if you want to skip the boring part for about a minute, I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and at the age of 16, I used to go to the beach every weekend and play volleyball. And after playing volleyball, I used to walk up back to the car and go, man, how cool would it be just to be able to live out here? Just walk out of your condo or your house or whatever, and you're right there on the beach. And so that was a life dream of mine at the age of 16. So 3 decades later, after saving some money, I was able to buy a beachfront condo, and it was very small. That's all I wanted. That's all I could afford. Um, and so that's kind of what happened there. And so at 46, I was able to buy a beachfront condo. I'm 52 now, but at the age of 46, I was able to buy the beachfront condo, which was my life dream. And um, however, there, what I didn't realize at 16, and what I began to realize that after owning the condo for a while, there may be some reasons not to own the condo. Um, and there may be some reasons why you should. But I'm going to tell you some reasons why you should not, first of all. So let's get right in it. One of the reasons you should not own a beachfront condo, especially if you live 2 or more hours away from the condo, is traffic. All right. So I lived about 6.5 hours away from the condo on a good day. And if there was traffic, it would be 8.5 hours, 9 hours. And, if there's a wreck and that sort of thing, it's going to take a long time to get there. And when you're trying to get home, same thing. So that was a headache. And it's not only that, it's the travel. So you've got to get down there, and then a couple times and a couple occasions I got in a wreck. A guy ran into the back of me when there was a wreck on the highway, and I was trying to get off the highway on a side road, and the guy thought I was going at the stop sign, and I wasn't going, and he hit me in the back and hit me pretty good. He had a full-ton truck, and messed his truck up pretty good too, but it messed my car up pretty good too. And I also had a blowout on the way back from the beach as well. So you're going to run into that as well. If you live more than 2 hours away, I'd say maybe not. Maybe not. So number two is regular costs. So first of all, nobody really helped me when I bought my condo. Like, I didn't have a clue what costs would be, HOA fees, what you should expect for commission from a management agency and that sort of thing. Um, so I did realize you can get a management agency down to about 20 or 18%, and you'll have to pay them that for managing your place. So if somebody stays at your place for, let's just say $100 that night, then you're going to pay them that 20%, so you get 80% gross. Um, but we'll get into the costs here in just a second. So HOA, HOA monthly dues, and you're going to hear some dogs barking in the background just because we have them. HOA monthly dues I had a 500 square foot condo, yeah, right on the beach. I mean, beachfront, one floor up, and great view. And but the fees were still $325 a month or something like that. So in the off months, that's a car payment. So you're going to pay that. Um, so it's about $3,700 a year. Just you're going to pay that. Um, and then insurance assessments on top of that. So what that I didn't know is that over the summer months, you're going to get some insurance assessment uh, fees to you that you have to pay that are about $1,500 a month for a sunsuite. It's 500 square foot. Um, People that have 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom are paying twice and triple that. So um, on top of the $325 regular payment. So what it amounts to is that you're paying $3,700 for the 326, then you're paying $3,700 for the insurance assessment, um, and on top of that, you're paying property tax, which is $1,500. It keeps going up, and then you have to pay HO6 insurance if you want to protect your interior contents, which is about $1,500. So you're paying a lot of money every year just to have the condo itself. Um, Property taxes kept going up. The HO6 insurance keeps going up. I'm not sure that you're actually going to be able to get HO6 insurance, which is the interior contents of your condo, in future years, because insurance companies are protecting themselves and they don't want to pay that. Um, Pay in case anything happens as far as a hurricane. Okay, so now we're moving on to number 3 as to why you should not get a beachfront condo as renters. All right. All right. I mean, so in my condo, I owned my condo for about over 6 years, and in that time frame, we had domestic abuse issues. Somebody stayed there that had domestic abuse, got blood everywhere. The kids that come in there that are, swinging from the curtains, think it's a playground, and they tear the curtains down from the wall. Um, we had somebody stay at not my place, but in the same building, that they had 2 rooms and they didn't conjoin, like they didn't have a door beside the 2 rooms, and they said, okay. And all it was about 10 foot apart, so you could walk out that door and then go to the other door, and then you could be in their room. But they said, you know what? And it was spring break too. And I get it, right? We've done stupid stuff. But I didn't do this. And they cut a rectangular section out of the one room to get into the other room in someone's condo that they didn't own. So they cut a rectangular sized door while they were there to be able to get into the other room, so they didn't have to open their front door and walk 10 feet to get into to get into the other condo. So anyway, I've had people dock me stars because they stayed 2 nights, and they said, hey, um, uh, we're going to give you a bad rating if you don't give us a free night. So I said, you know what? No, we're not going to do that anymore. So we're going to do 3 night minimum, this, that, and the other thing. So, and I've also had somebody dock me 2 stars because of this. You ready? It took a while for them to walk to the condo because they had bad knees. And also, they couldn't get the Bama game on the TV. And I didn't have any I didn't have any control over what channels we got because that was all paid for through the HOA. We all got the same cable package, so I couldn't control that. So I got docked 2 stars because the guy had bad knees, and it took him a long time to walk to the unit, and he didn't get the Bama game. So anyway, people stealing stuff. We had some large coffee cups in there. People stole them, and I had a 5x7 rug in my unit. Somebody stole. I don't know. Number 4 is hurricane threat. It's getting real because Not getting into this, right? So I'm not getting political, but I'm telling you, things are heating up. And, it's all cyclical or whatever you want to call it, and it'll get cold again at some point. But the weather's getting worse. Weather seems to be getting worse. And I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. So, we had hurricane. So, first of all, we had COVID hit us and nobody could stay there. And so I'm still paying HOA dues and had no rent income coming in. And then here comes Hurricane Sally. All right, let's hit us right there in September of 2020. Let's go ahead and hit us. And let's sit on us for 2 days, which is what happened. And let's move 2 miles an hour, 15 miles away from, landfall was 15 miles away from my condo. And it tore the roof off the building. It flooded everyone's unit, basically. Maybe not everyone, but close to everyone. We had to get a lot of work done. And after that, we had to pay an insurance assessment because of Hurricane Sally's damage to our building. Now, let me just walk you through this real quick, and this is good. My unit is 500 square feet. It was considered a studio, so I had to pay the least amount when it came to insurance assessment and that sort of thing. But my insurance assessment that year, the following year, because we had to pay out the contractors and all that to try to fix the building. Stucco got taken off and all that. I had to pay $16,000 out of my own pocket to pay for that. And everybody that had a Sun Suite had to do the same thing. But where it gets interesting is the 2 bedrooms had to pay twice that. So the 2 bedrooms had to pay $32,000. And the 3 bedrooms had to pay triple what I paid. And I'm not doing the math, but it's like $45K out of their pocket to pay for that repair that Hurricane Sally did to our building. The last thing, well, not the last thing, but almost the last thing, is the HO6 insurance. And HO6 insurance is separate from what you pay the HOA. So you pay the HOA a set fee every month because you're paying for a lot. You're paying for a lot of things. You're paying for the upkeep of the grounds, and you're paying for the for the for the water, and you're paying for cable, and you're paying for some other things as well. But the HO6 insurance is what you pay for if something goes wrong in your own unit. In other words, somebody gets hurt, or you have a hurricane and it washes all your furniture out of the place, and you got to pay for that because the regular HOA doesn't pay for that. That's your HO6 insurance, and it gets expensive. So my HO6 insurance started out at about, I'd say about $800, $800 for the first year I was there, and then 2017, I believe, and then it's steadily moved up to about $1,500 now. $1,500 a year, and it's getting harder to find. So not only is HO6 insurance getting harder to find, but the building insurance itself is getting harder to find. So, I was on the board for a while, and we had a hard time finding insurance to pay for wind and rain on our building itself, especially because of Hurricane Sally, because it tore the roof off, essentially. In one of the buildings in our complex, we had 5 buildings in our complex. One of the buildings actually had to be demolished. They couldn't repair the building. So that's that. The other thing really is neighbor issues. Like, you got people that have water leaks. We had somebody that had a water heater in our building on a top floor that that basically gave out because it was the original water heater from 1984. It was 35 or something, whatever years old, and it finally, the bottom gave out and it leaked down and it kept running, right? Because water goes into the water heater and it keeps running, and a whole bunch of units underneath it got taken out. and those people got in a world of hurt because there were some lawsuits filed too. In a condo environment, this is not necessarily a house environment. If you get a house on the beach, it's different, right? You don't have to pay HOA. You don't have to do any of that. I couldn't afford it, right? I'm not rich. I just saved some money and I bought what I could afford. But in a condo environment, it's a lot of people. It's just too crowded, you know. And we didn't have that many units in our building, but it just got too crowded. Um, and it kept getting too crowded. Like people overload units. Like if you have a I'm saying like too much, but if you have a unit that's, say, meant for 4 people, they'll stuff 8 people in there, man. They'll figure out a way. They'll put an air mattress in there. They'll do something, and everybody's stuffed in that unit. It's like, at some point. The other thing is the balcony smoke. Our building, you were not supposed to smoke anywhere on the premises, but people did, right? So they got on their balcony and they smoked and they threw the cigarette butts out on the awning that was below us, and it was just like you had to look at that, and at some point. And for me, personally, just at the age I'm at, I just didn't enjoy. I used to enjoy sitting on the beach and just kind of sitting there all day and just baking. And there's some things that happened that just didn't allow me to do that anymore, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore. It was boring to me. Um, but so let's get into positives real quick before the sun goes down. And there are a lot if you live close. So we didn't live close. We lived, like I said, 6.5 hours away. If we had a wreck, it was 8 hours away. If you had to get off the interstate, it was more than that. But the first thing is it's yours. It's your condo. Man, you can say I own a beachfront condo, and that is cool. Not a lot of people can say that, and you can say that if you bought a beachfront condo and you're sitting there on the beach, and you got our condo was a floor up, so it wasn't ground floor, it was a floor up, and you can get back to the condo quick. There's a restaurant right down there. Man, you're grooving. Yeah, you come back from the beach, go down there and get you something to eat, come back up to the room, you're good. You can say you got a beachfront condo, and that's awesome. Sunsets, can't beat them, man. Cannot beat the beach sunsets. I've taken many pictures of them, and I still got them. And yeah, it's so beautiful. And the sun just looks like it's on fire going over the ocean. And I will miss that. And I'll still go back to the beach um, and stay at different places. That was the other thing I forgot to mention on the why you shouldn't is every time you go to the beach, you think that you should stay at your place because there are things you need to fix up and that sort of thing. But I like to go to different places. So I forgot to mention that. But you always feel like you got to go back to your place and fix things up, and you're always staying there. And I like to go to different places when I go to the beach. But anyway, sunsets are amazing. They just are on the beach. It goes right down over the water, and it's crazy. And seashells, right? Who doesn't like to get seashells on the beach? You can find anything you want out there. It's a tax write-off. When you own a condo, it's basically a business. So if you buy things for your condo, if you have to buy an air conditioner or do anything else to the condo, you have to replace things. You can actually expense those on your taxes, but you can't expense everything, right? So you know, it still costs you money. And the income from renters. That's another reason to have a condo. You have income. Um, but where I go with that is I'm not knocking it, but I will say, just to keep this in perspective, is that you have income from renters. Now let's just say this. Let's say you rent your condo for $100 a night. All right. 20% of that goes to the rental agency. If you can't if you can manage your own condo, great. If you live close enough, but we could not. So 20% of that goes to the rental agency. So that's $80. and you got to pay Uncle Sam, right? So on top of that, you got to pay 25% basically to Uncle Sam. So it's $50 now. So if a renter has an issue, or they say they want a night free, this, that, and the other thing, you're making less than that. So a positive is income from renters, but you've got to balance that with how much income you're actually getting in the end, right? So net. Um, that's basically it. Long video, but hopefully it helped. If you live close to your condo, then it'll probably work out good for you. If you live far away from us, if you live far away like we do, then probably not a good decision to get one. It just depends. But we probably maybe made some money over 6.5 years. But I did sell. I bought the condo with cash because I saved money over 3 decades, right? And then I sold it for over twice what I paid for it, and then had income from renters and that sort of thing, but also had a lot of expenses. And you're going to get that. They're going to come out of nowhere. And the hurricane threat for me was just basically, yeah. And in the distance, it was the traffic that just kind of sealed it for us. So we just kind of said, oh, let's cash out. So that's what we did. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and I really appreciate it. Take care.